Okay, now that we know where we're at and what we have to do, I've gone ahead and laid out the next drawing that I have to do, and that's the letter R. So what I went ahead and did is, let's go back and look at the one I'd done on the previous tissue box. In fact, it was the one I actually did for this one. On this one, all I needed is one view. I mean, it's not necessary to go in and do an isometric in the top view because it's actually pretty simple. If you kind of look here at the letter, it's really thin, it's 1/4 of an inch, you know, and it's just painted on the edges, and it's that. So there's really not a lot of information I need to put as far as drawing on there. It's just the actual letter itself. So I went ahead and made some design notes. I went ahead and filled out my title block down here. It says tissue box, project -DWG, MDF letter R. So I'm telling what kind of material I'm using, I'm telling what letter I'm using. Went ahead and come over here and I set my scale up. But also went up here and I put some design notes in. I told material up here to make sure I specified that again. I said that's going to be materials MDF, medium density fiberboard. I will go up here and I made myself a note that my letter is going to be 1/4 inch thick by 4.5 inches tall. Actually 4.25 inches tall. Well, and I'm also going to have it primed, and I'm going to have it painted. So let's talk about this size of the letter first of all. The actual tissue box itself, if you look here, is going to be a total of 5.25 inches. Well, I went ahead and said 4.25. The reason I said 4.25, I don't know if you can see it real well in this, but I want the R to be more, or the letter to be more oriented towards the top. So I have a thinner area here, not a lot, but a thinner area here and a thicker area here. The reason I do that has to go back when I was in art school and we talked about framing pictures and, you know, IF focus and that kind of thing. So I like my part centered in the middle, but a little more oriented towards the top. So that's why I said 4.25 as opposed to 4.5. Then that had 4.5, it had to be an equidistance between here and there. So I didn't want to do that, so I want the letter a little farther forward. Okay, so got that done. So now what I need to do is basically kind of figure out what width I want to make my actual letter. So what I'm thinking on this is I'm going to go with a width of probably 2.5 inches. So I'll find the center of my drawing right here, which I did. And if it's going to be 2.5 inches, so that would be 1.25 on either side. So I'm going to come over here to 1.25, and I'm going to make myself a mark here. And I'm going to come over here to 2.5, and I'll make myself a mark there. So I'll know where I'm going to orient myself going to the top. And I'll do the same thing up here. So I'll find 1.25 there, and I'll make myself a mark, and then I'll come over here to 2.5 and make myself a mark. And so that way, if I go off center, was I on center? No, I wasn't on center. I gotta fix that. So let's go ahead and put this on here. Let's find our center point and let's verify that. So I'll draw myself a thin, very light line going from here and just to there. And I'll measure over, yeah, let's do it that way. So I'll measure over here 1.25 to that point. Yeah, that's more accurate. And then I'll measure 1.25 over to that point, which is more accurate. Okay, I like that better. Now, so let's just go ahead and we'll line up our T-square and we'll draw the box upon which I'm going to place my, draw my letter in. So I'll draw up here, light line. These are, remember, light sketch lines. We don't want to overdraw our drawing and we don't want to draw too heavy so they have to come back and do some erasing that we can't seem to get off. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Now, I always center my drawing up on my drawing sheet, so we got to come over here and we're going to draw right down the middle of this, and that's going to become our center points of our drawing. So now we know that our letter over here is 4.25, so that's 4.25. We're going to divide that by 2, so that's going to be 2. And then over here it's going to say 2 1/8, so that's going to be 1, 2, 5. So that's going to be 2 1/8 that I have to make this guy. So not too hard of math. So we'll come down here and find 2 1/8 of an inch, which would be right there. We'll come up to 4 1/4 here, which would be the height of our text. We'll put that in there. Looks like my video is through processing. I'll come back to this.